experiences retrograde, stations direct, and then finally begins to move forward again. So it is also a powerful moment to take the inventory of what have you learned, what has been revealed to you over this retrograde, over this last month and a half. What has been revealed? What perceptions of your reality have you been asked to rethink, to cleanse off the filters, to make sure that those filters and that those lenses that you're looking through are clear, to make sure that these perceptions of right and wrong and truth and reality are something you're willing to fight for, of something you're willing to separate for. And maybe they are. I think it's a trying on of lenses and perceptions of reality to release our dogmas. And I also think it's a trying off of lenses and perceptions of reality. It's a trying off of saying, you know what, I tried on that lens and I'm no longer wanting to be a part of that judgment field or that version of reality. But that being said, being really mindful and extra aware of the temptation to get hooked in to that polarization with others, to get hooked in to the fight, to get hooked in to feeding systems and feeding these victim, perpetrator, narcissistic, codependent patterns that we have going on right now. Because that Venus and Gemini asks us to not be attached and to try on the lenses and to really reclaim what do we value. How do these perceptions, how do these conversations, these people that we're networking and engaging and connecting to, supporting what we value. But the shadow of the opposite of Gemini is Sagittarius. The shadow of that would be to fight and to cling to dogma, to fight for your version of truth and purpose and right and wrong and God. Truth, what's truth? And let me just say, we are in a war on consciousness right now. There will be, in the next year and a half, major disillusionments happening. Right now, we got to get really clear on what is your truth. What is your purpose? Do you need to let some things go? Do you need to learn more? Or do you need to reclaim that? Gather more. And also coming back, because the medicine is Cancer. The eclipse, the new moon, the sun, and Mercury retrograde is in Cancer, saying, come back to the mother. Come back to the feminine. Come back to the home inside of yourself. Know what nourishes you, what makes you feel safe and secure. Is this fight feeding that security and that desire for intimacy and connection and safety? Are we lifting these parts of ourselves and others up so that they can be vulnerable, so that they can be heard? Right now, I really do feel like we're playing out this narcissistic, archetypal experience of the narcissist and the victim is crying out, pleading like, please understand how you're hurting me. Please see the folly of your ways. Please just hear how I am justified and validated in having my feelings that this is happening. Racism is happening. This exists. And all these other experiences exist. And yet, the narcissist, our government, The people in our life that are choosing this old system of power are holding fucking strong to it. And you know, just like in a narcissistic, abusive relationship, we can't wait for the narcissist to be like, oh my God, I'm so sorry that I've been hurting you this whole time. I see how my selfish refusal to hear and be accountable to how my actions affect you hurt you. Let me change all that. We can't wait for that person to see that and validate us in order to reclaim ourselves and heal. We can't wait for our government, for the structures, for the people of power who are benefiting from this narcissistic ideology, narcissistic religion, narcissistic capitalism, narcissistic race. We can't wait for these people. We can't use and spend all of our wheels spinning trying to fight them, trying to prove to them and get them to change. But we can do something about it. We can do it collectively on a grand scale, and we can also do it in our life. So this is a time I'm asking you, who's the narcissist in your life? And that's not to say you're a narcissist and you're a bad person and get out and blame and project. No, it's saying, where are you in unhealthy, toxic, and also just unbalanced dynamics? Unbalanced of give and take. Who's showing up for you? Who's hearing your feelings and showing up for them? Feed those relationships. Say yes to that. Where it's not happening, where it's draining or depleting and you're spinning your wheels trying to be validated and heard, and deflection is happening, and further blame and further guilting that you even have the feelings and you're expressing them in the way that you're expressing them, all of that, unhook. It's time to unhook from these. Come to a real place of deep nourishment and deep worthiness. And rise up together, because there are a lot of people ready to rise and ready to change and ready to look at it. There's a lot of people that aren't. But what happens when we come together and we say, okay, we're all ready. What do we want to create now? How do we want to say no? How do we want to unhook and get out of this toxic relationship? We can't pretend it doesn't exist. They've already gaslit us enough. We can't go gaslighting ourselves by pretending it's not happening, and to keep trying and hooking in, if I just say it different or whatever it is. Like, find the ways that you're hooking in. Let this solstice be the moment to reclaim that devotion. Cancer is about devotion. It's about nourishment. It's about tending the garden of your heart, and for the hearts of those that are vulnerable, for the mother, for the child, for the feminine, and for the feminine inside of every man that is nourishing and nurturing those, that is protective and honoring, to the ocean, to the moon, all of it. It's a time to come back to that part. We don't have to separate ourselves. We don't have to fight and war and polarize further in order to do it. We can come home and marry those parts of us, those parts of the dark and the light inside, because they are both vital for us. And we can unhook. Find out the ways that more light can be shown into every cavern in your body and your being in this time. And deep devotion to the sacred inside of yourself and inside of others. It makes me want to cry, because it's like, we must be in devotion to that sacred inside of each other, so that we can lift each other up and hear the things that are uncomfortable, hear the things that we might want to shy away from or we might want to fight, and also unhook from the things that are keeping you from nourishing that sacred.